Hey, ladies and gentlemen, how are you going on this Saturday night? Or if you're down under like me, it is Sunday afternoon, getting ready for the end of the week, going into a brand new week tomorrow. How are you all? Coming to you from Melbourne, Australia, where it was like 1 degree this morning, like 1 degree. That's it. We got out of all the degrees we could have in temperature, we got one. It was absolutely freezing down here this morning. It is definitely winter time down here. If you're in the US, I know that seems like a bit of a drastic change to what you guys are going through. If you're in New York, you may need to buy a submarine. If you are in other places in the US, there's like massive fires and still a couple of tornadoes getting about. And in Florida, if you're in Florida right now, you have your sort of first real threat to the tropics happening. You have Invest 91L emerging in the Gulf. They're saying it could be an increased tropical development. Weather around the world going a bit mental. So we're in that sort of time of year where you never quite know what is going to happen. Are you going to get rains, flood, the cyclone, hurricane, or are you going to get ice like down here in Victoria? It is good to see you all. Speaking about the Gulf Coast, I have a story out of there tonight, and it's a bit of a weird one. It is two people that were found in a home in Port Charlotte, and they're saying here it's a little weird. They're saying, according to a Thursday morning update from the CCSO, which is, I think it's the Coast Sheriff's Office, they're saying deputies responded to a home for a well-being check. Deputies found two people deceased inside the home. But listen to this next bit. According to the CCSO, the identification of the bodies could not be made due to the amount of time that had passed. They're saying the resulting conditions of the bodies was degraded. CCSO said once the bodies are identified, family members will be properly notified and then more updates will be shared. They're saying evidence supports that the deaths were an isolated incident and there is no concern for the community on the Gulf Coast in Florida. This is very strange. How do you get a welfare check so far away from, the death of the people? Is it sort of like people who have family that I don't know. It's a bit of a weird one. Like, how come no one checked on them beforehand? How come no one called up? Did no one call them? Did they not miss any appointments? Did they not go anywhere? Were they sort of elderly people who didn't go out a lot? Were they people that didn't have a lot of friends and family in Port Charlotte? It's interesting. So I'll play you the little update here. This is what they have from what do they call it? The Gulf Coast News. Here, ABC News on the Gulf Coast.
And some more breaking news. Two people were found dead in Port Charlotte. It happened at a home on Rock Creek Drive Wednesday. And we are covering the Gulf Coast in Port Charlotte this morning, where Jackie Gunther has been at the scene all morning. Jackie, what can you tell us?
Well, Alex, right now investigators have not said how the two people died, but earlier we did watch the medical examiner leave with one of the two bodies. We have been here since the early morning watching the medical examiner and investigators entering this house and bringing out evidence bags. Deputies say they came to check on the house after they got a call for a well-being check. They say the two people could not be identified because of the amount of time that had passed since they died. Rock Creek Drive is still closed between Bayard Street and Jarvis Street. The sheriff's office says this appears to be an isolated incident. People who live here tell us they're still trying to process what exactly happened.
Somebody had reported nobody had taken the trash cans in. They hadn't seen them in weeks.
It's sad, it's very sad.
Investigators say they're still waiting to properly identify the two people and notify their families before releasing any more information. But as soon as we get more information from CCSO, we'll be sure to let you know. Covering
So it was the neighbors that sort of cottoned on to something was wrong when they hadn't been taking out their trash can for garbage collection. It's something odd here. I mean, I know there's people in life that don't have, a lot of family or whatever. I can tell you that from personal experience. I'm just trying to find out if there was a update to this. Two people found. It sounds like Wink News, which I'm gonna try get to it, has an update for it. Two found dead. Hmm. Ah. Oh, is this the same one? Hold on, guys. There's another update from this same area, but Charlotte County, two bodies inside a home. Okay. Yep. Okay. All right. Let me take you out to this update 'cause this one has a bit more about like how that situation unfolded. Yeah, let me take you out there. If I can unmute it, that'd be great. Ah, that's not what we want to do.
Trash cans have been
Yeah.
I spoke with a person that called in the welfare check off camera. Now they tell me they've noticed this grass has not been mowed for a while, and those trash cans have been sitting there for 4 weeks. After they got home from work yesterday and noticed the cans still there, they called 911 and were shocked to see how the events unfolded.
Charlotte County Sheriff's Office confirms 2 people were found dead inside a home. Deputies say the 2 bodies were unidentifiable. Gulf Coast News watched as investigators wore masks before walking into the house. The sheriff's office says it will take some time to identify the bodies. You can count on Gulf Coast News to keep you updated as we wait to hear the cause of death.
4 weeks, a month to have someone to notice? Like, it ended up being the neighbors who called in the welfare check because of the grass and the bins had not been taken in, and, like you saw in the video, they're just, like, knocked over. Yeah, let's go back. You can see it, like, just on the there you go. Just knocked over on the grass, like, looks like they were taken out at some point and never brought back in. It sounds pretty terrible. Sounds yeah, no HOA there, Diane. No HOA to, like, tell them to bring their bins in. Yeah, 4 weeks is a long time. It's a really long time to notice that someone's, like, not home, not picking up, like, not going to medical appointments. Like, if this is an elderly couple, you would think that they would have some sort of, like, yeah, medical or something like that. Yeah, I'm just trying to see if was there a name given out? Okay. Alright, so we do have an update. The 2 deceased individuals are a 72-year-old man named David Michael Dermer Sr., and the other person who died is his 45-year-old son with the same name, David Michael Dermer Jr., and they're saying here that this was at 2645 Rock Creek Drive in Port Charlotte. Hmm. Ah, okay. They're saying detectives with the major crime unit had clarified that the incident was isolated, and this is now they have like a cause of death for them. The 72-year-old man, the father, died of accidental or natural causes, but the son, 45 years old, David Michael Jr., died via S word. Huh. Um, it seems like a tragedy, like an absolute tragedy, almost like when dad died, he didn't know what to do with he didn't know what to do with himself, and he couldn't he couldn't handle not being with his dad. It's not like this situation is like where he killed his father and then, did the other thing. It sounds like his dad died first, and then he just decided that it wasn't worth sticking around in the world without him. That is very sad. Very sad, considering the fact that no one came for them in a month. No one came in a month to look for them. Doesn't sound like it. It doesn't sound like it was. Let me have a look. Trying to see if we can find a photo of the two men. I can't even find a photo of them, but that's okay. Let's have a look here. So I do have a photo of the property. I'm gonna put that up on the screen. I'm guessing at some point it was looked after. Here, here's the property. There's those bins down there, and then you can see a car in the driveway. And I mean, their neighbors don't exactly like. One neighbor has very nice, lawn, but their neighbor on this side doesn't. It is overgrown, and some of the. I mean, it's a little messy, but I wouldn't think it would be enough to call authorities over. Let's have a look. How sad. How sad that the son just decided, hey, I'm gonna go as well because my dad died. How sad. You can see where the neighbors have cut the grass. Yeah, you can. You can see like the bordering that they've done here. Is down here, and then I think there might be a little bit on the opposite side here. But hey, that's really really awful. I wonder why he felt the need to do that. Um, and why no one checked on him. Like, I mean, he's 45 years old. You would think they would have extended family or someone who might call for them. Anyone, an uncle, an auntie, ex-wife maybe of David's, something. But no one called in a month. That is pretty sad. Pretty sad that they could sit there for that long in that home with no one, like no one looking for them. That is, you know, it tells you that in our societies, there's a lot of invisible people that don't have support mechanisms behind them. So it may have been that the father was being supported by the son, but then no one was supporting his son. And then, yeah, when his dad went, there was nowhere really for him to do anything else. I'm just checking what the sheriff has to say here. That's not it. The I looked up something and it was, like, related to this case, and this popped up. And I was like, "No, I don't think that's exactly what we're looking for." Um, I don't think that's right. I don't think that's got anything to do with it. Alright, let me see. Follow up. Here. Detectives with the Charlotte County Sheriff's Office Major Crimes Unit have been investigating a pair of deaths at that 2645 Rock Creek Drive in Port Charlotte. Through the investigation, it has been determined that David Michael Dermer Sr. died of accidental or natural causes, and his son suffered a mental health related death. Our hearts are with the family and friends of these men as they navigate the pain of losing two loved ones so closely together. They're saying here on Wednesday, there was a well-being check taken out. Two deceased individuals were located within the home. Identification of the individuals could not be made at the time due to the conditions of the body. Evidence supports that this was an isolated incident. How sad. That's really sad that even their neighbors did not know that something was going on like that. And their houses are not that far away, right? So a person called Brittany Marie, she's on the Facebook for the Charlotte County Sheriff's Office. She said it was actually her father who called in the welfare check and that they were not able to smell any decomposition surrounding the home at all. So someone asked, like, couldn't you smell the two bodies decomposing, but she's saying no one could smell it. I'm just trying to see if she commented again. Yeah. All right. So how sad. I really wish we had a photo of both men, but unfortunately at this time there has been no photo put out into the public domain. If I get one, I'll show it to you. I think that's awful that they could sit there for 4 weeks or more and no one actually come to help them. That's awful. Hey, Leisha, how are you, my friend? Kim said, shame on those men. Those ones, yeah, those ones. Shame on them. What did they get in trouble for? Second quarter narcotics arrest. I don't know what that means. Let's see. Christopher Scalisi. Ah, he got done with trafficking amphetamines, also possessing amphetamines with intent to sell within 1,000 feet of a park. Sale of Coca-Cola within 1,000 feet of a park. Sale of Xanax as well. This guy has a lot. Howard Parson got done for selling tramadol. This guy got done for methamphetamine. Jerome Lewis got done for the same thing. And then our friend at the end here with the cornrows, he got done with selling Coca-Cola near a park. I didn't even know that was an ordinance that you can't sell, your illicit things near a park. Apparently it is there. Second guy looks like he's enjoying the product. Where is he? He definitely looks like he's had a little bit before they arrested him. He definitely looks like he's maybe had a little bit of his own product. Danny said, "Has anybody watched Sweet Bobby?" I can't remember. I think I did watch it. Hold on, what's that one about? It's a stalking one, right? Is that a stalking one? I feel like I did watch it. Is that a UK one? Yeah, I did watch this, but it came out ages ago, like a couple of years ago. I did actually watch this at the time. Um, the partner or whatever was lying the whole time. Said like he was this rich and famous guy and all these things, and there was like multiple people that he made up. And yeah, I remember watching this. It was I don't know. I think if you I think at the end, even she says that she was very naive. And when you listen to like some of the tales and stories that she tells about like what happened, you just go like, who would believe that? Who would actually believe any like some of the stories? He's all like, oh, and then a raccoon came and then it stole my vehicle, and then I had to fly to Germany to meet the Prince of Germany. Like it was, very, very convoluted. And you think like after the first or second time, how many times do you believe that a raccoon came and stole the vehicle? It was a girl cousin, right? Oh, the dude Bobby was innocent. Maybe I'm thinking of a different one. I've watched a few catfish type documentaries. Oh, maybe it is that one. I know there was one where they were like the stories were so outlandish and like they were like you would think to the girl like why is it like why are you believing any of this? Um Maybe it is the same one. It's been a couple of years since I watched it, but I just remember thinking at the time, why did you continue with it for so long? Um yeah, it just sounded like out of this world, like the scenarios and the people that were made up, it just didn't like sound good. Yeah, I'd have to watch it again. I think we showed it on the show yesterday. Like Johnny Depp loves me. Like 9 years, right. I remember it was a long time, and she devoted a long time to the this relationship that was not even real. Um, I remember at the end of the documentary, she says something like, "I wish I hadn't have wasted all those years," because, like, she's getting older, and as a woman, she wants to, have some babies and start a family, and she was like, "I've wasted a lot of those prime years, chasing after this guy." Yeah, I don't know. I mean, it's a very interesting story of, like, manipulation. It reminds me of that one in Australia. The same thing, like, very similar, where it was a female behind a male persona. It is that one, where the girl actually died, the victim, the one who was actually being catfished, she ended up dying, and, I think no one got charged over it. That's the more spectacular thing, is that no one has faced a criminal charge in the relation to her death ever. And the girl who did it got away scot-free. Yeah, Renee, we've covered it a lot on this channel. Renee's story is something everyone should know about. It is one of the most insane catfishing stories I've ever heard. And the fact that it was her best friend the entire time is so cruel. I think one of the craziest things about that story is the fact that Renee gave up a chance to be with another guy who really loved her, and because she was so in deep with this Braden Spiteri that didn't exist, and she ended up breaking up with a real life boyfriend to be with this imaginary character that her best friend had developed. Um, Insanely cruel, insanely, this was the friend. Here she is. That's the friend right there. And she did this to what was supposed to be like her best friend. Made up this guy, made up their whole relationship, made up that he went to jail. It was twisted, and she has never ever been charged with anything ever. I think I read you out the inquest details back in the day, back like early on in this channel's history. I think I read out the inquest to you. So there was a inquest done by the State Coroner's Court of New South Wales, and yeah, here coronial law. There you go, catfishing and that. It was brutal, absolutely brutal. So Renee thought at the time that her and Braden were breaking up and all this stuff, and she ended up throwing herself from the gap in Watson's Bay in Sydney after I'd have to look up. I can't remember. She got a text message or something, and she was just so devastated. Yeah. Yeah. On the day that Renee died, Renee expected to receive news about the outcome of Braden's court case and was hopeful that he was going to be released from jail. Instead, Braden terminated their relationship from all accounts, and that left Renee devastated. That early evening, she drove to the Gap and communicated by text message to Braden. Then he stopped replying, and after waiting a short time, she then sent 3 people a text message from the cliff top. The last was to Braden, the next was to her mother, and the first was to her friend Camilla, who she had known since high school. Renee then threw her phone off the cliff and shortly afterward herself. Then Braden sent 2 messages, but of course they were some minutes after Renee had died. It's They're saying here earlier in February of 2012, Renee had received a Valentine's card and flowers from Braden. She had the card with her when she drove from her home to the Gap. Using her finger, Renee had also written on the windows of her car that she had loved Braden because he never existed. Camilla had made him up, the girl on your screen right now. It's crazy. The Gap is like a geological feature in Sydney. and it is a well-known location for this type of thing. I'm going to try to show you a photo of it so you really get an understanding of what it is. Here it is. Yeah, here. All right, there you go. So you can see why many people would go here for that purpose, right? These sort of lookouts and fencing, many years ago, they were not there. This used to be a walkway that used to go along this area, and there were no fences on the edge of it. When it sort of developed a reputation for this type of thing, they put more fences and cameras there. They put more like security. So for a long time, people used to just walk off the edge. Danny said scary, yeah. And the fact that the whole thing was fake, and that it was this absolutely disgusting human being that did it to her. Her best friend, supposed to be someone that she cared about a lot. And instead, she drove her up the wall for years about this fake Braden, including like having fake, she got another number, like had a second mobile phone, like all these different things to keep the lie together. Then she like made lies up like, oh, Braden's gone to prison, and like just crazy. You get hooked in, I guess, and um like you hear some of the dramas that happen within the family here. In May of 2012, Teresa told Renee that she thought Braden was rude and arrogant and felt that it was not a good relationship to be in. That's her mom. Renee said that she would not continue the relationship, but that she would remain friends with him to give him support. However, the relationship likely continued, with Renee expecting that Braden would be released from jail in August of 2012 so that she and Braden could continue their relationship in a physical sense. In September of 2012, Renee took a OD of medication. 3 days later, she told Teresa what she had done and that she was vomiting and unable to eat or drink. Teresa drove to Renee to hospital, where she was attended to in the emergency department and discharged. The notes from that medical episode say boyfriend spent a year in jail and was out on parole. Boyfriend had a fight with his father after being out of jail. Father pressed charges and boyfriend is back in jail for 2 years in Goulburn prison. Patient is upset as she didn't have any contact with boyfriend. Feels she has not been mentally stable. Says work is stressful. Boss told me a few days he loves me. Feels confused. She reported her mood as a 4 out of 10, but denied self-harm ideas. The note also indicates that Renee regretted the episode and that she was happy to be alive with no serious fatal consequences. What you need to know about this is the whole thing about Braden and getting into a fight with his father, and there was charges and he went back to jail. That's all fake. It never happened because there is no Braden. Braden's not a real person. So you see how like the impact it had on her life. I It's horrific to me. Like same with the Bobby one, that these people, whether they're male or female, can just get so wrapped up in it. What's interesting to me is that with this one and that Bobby one, Sweet Bobby, is that both of them were driven by females, and it's like, why? Why would you do this to someone that you're supposed to, you like? They're supposed to be people that you're, um, you know, they're supposed to be people that you want in your life and things like that. I don't really understand why you would go to all this effort, mobile phones and talking and engaging with people for so long. Like, what is there to gain out of it? What is there? Like, I don't really get it. I would get bored after the first, I don't know, hour of this kind of charade. I'd get bored. I'd be like, I don't want to talk to this person anymore. But to continue it on for years, it's insane. So, like I was telling you, that girl never ever was charged with anything, and there are no laws in Australia in regards to catfishing. You can't be charged with anything. There's no law here. That's why that girl was never charged with a crime, because there is no law about assuming another identity in that way. There is if you do it for like financial gain, or if you did it to get some sort of property or something monetary. But if you're doing it for love, there's really nothing you can be charged with. So jealousy, you think that might be the driving factor here? I'd love to know. I just don't have the psychological background to know. Chimunk said, catfishing where someone pretends to be someone else to con someone can be a fake person or real person, but it's not that person. Right. We've all seen the TV show, right? Catfishing. Danny said, do they not psych hold in Australia? They do. It's not like a 5150 hold like in America. In America, that can be done involuntary. In Australia, it can be, but you have to be a threat either to yourself or to someone else. And when you read those medical notes, what does it say? It says that she is happy and that she doesn't have ideation for that type of thing. So that's why they didn't hold her, even though she did take an OD of medication. They did a sort of very quick assessment with her and felt that she was okay. Look, I'm going to put this PDF in the chat. If you watch Sweet Bobby and you've never heard of this particular case from Australia, go and read this entire PDF. Go and read it. Spend your afternoon or evening reading this entire thing from the coroner in New South Wales. Go and read it. Go and read the Renee Marsden findings. It is, I think it'll blow your mind, the sort of depths that people will go to keep a ruse going with someone. How many pages is it? I think it's about 50 pages. Let me have a look. Yeah, 50 pages. So I would go have a look. It has all the text messages, it has the timeline, it has everything, if you would like to go through it. I think there's a thing in here where they tell you how many text messages were sent between Braden and Renee. And I think it was up in like the hundreds of thousands. And you think, this guy, Braden, is supposed to be in jail. How is it that someone can relentlessly text message like that? Like, I know in jail you can get a tablet or a phone call or something like that. But in May of 2013, I don't think there was a way for them to do that. Those tablets have only sort of come out in the last sort of 5 to 8 years. They weren't around 15 years ago. So how would someone called Braden have a mobile phone to be able to text you from Goulburn Jail? Now, if you don't know about Goulburn Jail, it is one of the it has a well-known history. It is, I don't know if it's a Supermax. Is it a Supermax? Yeah, it's a Supermax. So it's one of the high security facilities in New South Wales. Most of the people that go to Goulburn are not really people who got done for punching their father. You're not heading to Goulburn for that. The people who go to Goulburn are like serial killers. Ivan Milat, people involved in drug importation, people involved in organized crime, that type of thing. Not someone who got done for, punching their dad. That is not what you're going to Goulburn for. So that is also a bit weird that she thought that that was a, real thing. You should watch it. You should watch it, Kathy. I got confused about the ending. I haven't seen it in like 2 years, but it is very good. You should go watch it. Spiteri, what a fake name. Yeah, it's a weird fake name, right? Gayla said, so he would need to pay to use a bad person's phone. Yeah, how would you have a mobile phone where you can text at all hours of the night inside a Goulburn jail, which is a supermax facility. It's not happening. It's not happening. And the fact, like, it's all fake. So it's, yeah, never happened. So go read it. I think you should. And it gives you a real understanding of, like, just how far that friend went to con Renee. I think the saddest thing that I've always thought is that she gave up a chance of love with a guy who really, really loved her. There was a guy that she was dating for a period of time, I think either just before she met Braden or just after met. And she ended up breaking up with him because she's like, "Oh, I love Braden more." That guy truly loved her and really wanted to have a relationship with her. And that's the crushing thing for me when I read this story, is that she wanted nothing more than to be loved by someone. And she had that in front of her, but she gave it up because of this fake person that her friend had made up. And I think that's the saddest thing, is that she had a guy who really, really wanted her. And yeah, it's just sad to me that she could have had it. She could have had it. Um, yeah, like here, I'll read you some of the text messages between Raiden and Renee and Braden. I almost joined their names together. And this was from Renee's telephone that was found in her car. And yeah. So, when it went to the coroner's court, Camilla, the person who was who was Braden, she tried to say that Renee knew that Braden was not real and that they were having a lesbian relationship, and the way they were hiding their lesbian relationship from their sort of very religious parents was by making up a fake boy, and that the whole time that Renee knew Camilla was Braden. Now, the court said that that is not true. There is no evidence at all that Renee ever knew that Braden was not real. And they basically said that Camilla needs to stop lying to the court. They basically told her that her evidence was worthless and that, yeah, she's just lying. Anyway, I'll read you some of the things here. So, Renee told people that she and Braden were going to marry in secret because her parents would not support it. Renee booked an appointment with a wedding photographer. Renee wrote to the Greek consulate. Renee sending Braden bridal and groom wedding photographs. Renee counseling and supporting Braden about his friend Richie, who he said had accidentally been killed in a motorcycle accident. I don't think Richie's real either. Renee complained to Braden about his refusal to give his lawyer's phone number so that she could speak with him or get the key to his storage so that she could have a memento. Renee's text message on the 1st of May 2013 says, "Do you ever wonder sometimes how strange it is, right, that we never met, but we have this inseparable love for each other?" Renee sending sexual images of herself to Braden, but that whenever she asked Braden to reciprocate, he never did, which would upset her. So the friend, Camilla, has naked photos of Renee. Like, from what I understand and from when I read into this case, Renee would send like full body nudity. And she thought it was going to a boy that she was trying to court or whatever, and it was going to her friend Camilla. Like, I don't think she wants her friend Camilla to see her in the nude. So they actually found those images too, which, yeah. Anyway, I'll talk about that in a minute. All right, and then Renee actually telephoned Goulburn Prison to speak with Braden on the 5th of August 2013. So you would think when she called Goulburn Prison that the ruse would fall apart, right? That this would all fall apart and she'd realize that she was being had. Because she called the prison and asked for Braden Spiteri. Now, when she called the prison told her that there is no person here in the prison that is called Braden Spiteri. And Camilla just started making up a bunch of lies about why when she rang there was, no one called Braden Spiteri at Goulburn. So yeah. So she did actually try to call and find him at Goulburn jail. So yeah, there's just some of the text messages that had been sent to Braden. No, Renee never knew. Renee never knew that it was Camilla. Never. The reason that everything sort of went over the edge is because they were breaking up and that she couldn't handle it at the time. Gail said, did she find out and take herself out, or did she die not know? She died not knowing it was Camilla. She did not know. She never knew the truth. So when she jumped off here, she thought Braden was a boy and a real person, not her friend Camilla. So, it's sad. If she had found out that Camilla had been behind it the whole time, she may still be here today. She may still be on Earth with us today. So, yeah, very sad story. Go read that PDF if you want to know more. If you've watched Sweet Bobby, I think that's a good one to go and watch. I think yeah, it's awfully sad. It's just it doesn't make any sense to me. I don't know how you can invest so much time into someone that you've never like if you've seen them on a phone call or a, Zoom, something like that, at least that is something, right? It's a tangible thing. It's a video. But if you're constantly talking via text message or some way that you can't even like they never spoke over telephone. They never spoke over the phone call either. So she's never heard his voice. It's a big lesson that you should always, if you ever get into an online relationship with someone, if they won't go on Zoom or some sort of video chat, if they won't call you or send you, some sort of visual, then just leave it alone. Walk away, because most people would be willing to do that. And, if they like you and you like them, then they would want to have that connection between each other. They wouldn't keep hiding behind text messages and things like that. It's a good piece of advice. If they won't go on a video chat, then it's not worth it. All right, here, I just want to show you a photo of Renee. Before we leave this topic alone, because she was such a really pretty girl. She could have had any guy, a lot of guys, whoever. Very, very attractive young lady. She could have had many, many boys. And it's sad that she got caught up in all this. The photos are very old. They're from like 2013, but yeah. There you go. Yeah, it's vicious, right? Vicious that her friend would do that to her. And I don't even know if she feels bad today. I don't think so. I don't think Camilla even cares. I don't think Camilla cares. The fact that she would go to the coroner's inquest and then lie about everything, say that Renee and her are lesbians and that they were hiding their relationship behind Braden. Like, no, it doesn't make any sense. Apparently, Renee had never shown interest in women, had always been heterosexual, and had always been looking for relationships with boys, not ever with girls. So it doesn't fit who she was. And it's not like she was a closeted, gay person or something like that. Never. Like, just it wasn't her. And that's not a bad thing. Some people are gay and that's fine. It's just that's not who she was. Yeah. Do I have one more photo for you? Yeah, here we go. So, her parents have campaigned for years for the law to change in New South Wales and Australia. They want people to be able to be charged if they catfish people like this. but so far their work to change the law has not worked very well. They haven't been able to make a lot of headway, unfortunately, which I think there should be. I mean, in my opinion, Camilla should be charged with inciting Renee to do that final act of jumping off the gap. I think it should be manslaughter. I think she should be held liable, but unfortunately, she never has. Yeah, Andrew says very pretty. Yeah, she was a very, very pretty girl. Bees are alive. Hey, my friend. Good to see you. Yeah, unfortunately, there never has. There's never been charges for the death of Renee. They basically said that she did it on her own accord, and yeah, that's it. Basically, yeah, it was her choice. But in my opinion, if Braden Spiteri never existed, Renee Marsden would be here today. Yeah, I'll see if there's one. If there's a thing with her mom. Here, let me see if I can find it. Where's the one with her mom? 2000. Unfortunately, I can't find it anymore. I think it's been so many years and there's so many true crime people who have done stories on it. I can't find the original videos, which is a shame. I'd like to show you her mum talking. Yeah, can't find it, unfortunately. Hey, good to see you. Chipmunk said, even a person just saying that stuff should be a charge. That one girl here got prison for telling her male friend. Oh yeah, that girl. She encouraged him to do it, and then she got charged for it. Our laws just don't have something that they could charge Camilla with, unfortunately. All right, let's leave that alone. By the way, how did you guys go with the story last night that I brought you from Tennessee? That mom, Kendra Scott, the Tennessee mother charged with first-degree murder. Now, I was doing some research last night, trying to find out if we could find out more about the young boy, the 20-year-old man and the daughter. But so far, there's been no new information. And apparently tomorrow, wait, no, tomorrow is Monday for me. On Monday for you guys, Kendra Scott will appear in court in Tennessee. Apparently, they're expecting a brief of evidence to be read out in court, which we may get a lot more information about what happened on that night and what happened at her home. So if you don't remember or you didn't watch it last night, here, I'll play you the little catch-up video here. Yeah, let's go here.
And in tonight's crime alert, a local mother is charged with shooting and killing a man who was found hiding under her child's bed early yesterday morning. WREG's Caitlin Barker is live in the neighborhood where the shooting took place with the latest on what happened. Caitlin?
Good afternoon, Stephanie. This shooting took place here at around 1:40 a.m. and it happened at this home right across from me on Travis Road. Now, this all happened after a mother found a man in her house. She says he was hiding under a child's bed. When police arrived, they found the man dead near the front porch. Now, the woman, 36-year-old Kendra Scott, now faces multiple charges, including first-degree murder and employment of a firearm during the commission of a dangerous felony. The man who was shot has now been identified as Redarius Morton. According to police, Morton was invited by a child to the home and came in through the back door at 1 a.m. The arrest affidavit says when Kendra Scott came home, she was heard banging on the front door and yelling, "Who's at my house?" Once the child opened the door, Morton was found hiding under the child's bed. As Morton was leaving the house, both Scott and Morton went out to the front porch, and that's when the juvenile says she heard a gunshot. Morton was found shot in the back of the head. Now, I spoke with one neighbor who says he feels bad for everyone involved.
For the child, since her mama going to jail, the boy family, since he was walking away, and I guess I feel bad for the mama. She should have thought more.
Now, I spoke to multiple neighbors who say that in this case, nobody wins. Now, we're actively working to confirm the age of the man that was involved and the juvenile, and we'll have more on that at 10 p.m. tonight.
All right, from like what we think and know, that male is 20 years old and the daughter is 13. Now, that's not been confirmed, but yeah, that's sort of the age range going around. I don't know, like the neighbor says, maybe she should have thought more. But when you go to your home with a firearm in hand before you even enter the home, it sounds like your intentions are clear, that you're going in there and you're gonna hurt someone. Now, I get it. I get that we all would like to protect young girls, boys too, but we've all heard the story of like, that mom or dad, if someone messes with my kid, I'm gonna kill him. Well, she did it in a way, but it's almost like she did it in the wrong way. That he was already leaving the property, and there was no resistance from him to leave that property. So the fact he was shot in the back of the head, I think, unfortunately, is what is going to do her in. I think the fact that he was turning to walk away and to leave, that is going to work against her. Marilyn said 1 a.m. in the morning. Yeah. I mean, I know parents have to work, and especially in some parts of America, some parents have to work the night shift. That is an unfortunate reality for some people. That some people, that's the only job they have, and they don't have a choice of when they get rostered. So they might have to work, during the day, the afternoon, the evening, or even sometimes overnight. So I've heard people saying like, "Why was the mum coming back at 1:30 in the morning?" Maybe that's just the time that she has to go to work. Um, did mum know him? I don't believe so. I don't believe so. But the like we heard in last night, the mum had warned the daughter, so she must have brought boys over before when mum was at work, because she said, "Do not be bringing any boys over to the home when I'm not here." So I reckon the daughter has done it in the past. Kathy said, "What if she had shot him in the house?" You would have a better case for some sort of like stand your ground or castle doctrine. When it really depends on the circumstances. Are they armed? Are they hurting your child? Are they refusing to leave the property? There's a bunch of different things that would go into it. The fact that he was outside of the house, I think, works against her. Maybe if he was hiding under the bed and then she shot him, maybe that would have worked better, like in a legal way, but not in this particular way. Sweet Universe, hey my friend, good to see you. Gail said you can babysit at 12 for family. Yeah, 13 is almost at that age where you can stay at home. Danny said execution style. Yeah, the fact that he was shot in the back of the head basically meant that she was going to kill him and she was going to kill him. There is no two ways about it. SPO said, how about call 911 as well? We shall see. There are two sides to a story. Yeah, we're going to have to wait till we get the court documents on Monday. I hit Monica said the back of her head is a problem too. Yeah, because it shows he was walking away. It shows that he had his body turned to her and was leaving the property. So that's, if you were going to work on either a castle doctrine or a self-defense, that's a problem in either of them, because you're basically showing that you're under no threat. You're under no threat at that time because he's not even facing you. So yeah, it's going to be a bad case. Yeah, so we'll wait till Monday. We'll get an update for it then, and then I'll be able to tell you a bit more. But right now, they're saying here that he basically died at the scene. They're saying he suffered a gunshot wound to the back of his head and died where he was shot. He basically died right on the porch of that home. Like, if we look at the video, can we go back to the home? Okay. So he must have left through this particular door. They're saying he was that she fired the shot while he was on this landing or porch or whatever you want to call it. So he was on, it's not very big either. So he was here. It sounds like he was about to walk down the stairs there, and that she from the doorway pulled the trigger, and he basically fell where he was shot and killed. So I mean, trying to see if we get a different view of that home. There's the door. Yeah, there you go. So yeah, right on that porch is where he was shot, unfortunately. Her daughter will have to testify. Yep, possibly against her own mom. Gayla said maybe she aimed for his bum like she said, but he stepped down from the porch. I don't think it matters. Yeah, you might be right, but I don't think it matters. Espion said we also don't know what he said on the way out. Yeah, they said there was a verbal argument between the mum and him, and then she fired. Ruined everyone's lives. Well, the daughter's never going to see her mum again, most likely. Mum's going to be in jail, possibly for the next 20 to 30 years. The kid's family, the 20-year-old, his family, they lost their son. He may not have even thought he was doing anything wrong. That girl may have been like, she said, I invited him over. I invited him to the home and let him in. He didn't break into the home. He didn't climb through a window. The daughter invited him to the property. So it's not like he broke in and was hiding in the daughter's bedroom, trying to SA her. This was a guy with a daughter being very naughty, inviting grown men over while mum is out of the home. So we never said maybe he threatened to get a gun and come back. I mean, maybe. We don't know. We'll have to wait and see what she says on Monday. So we'll probably get a rundown of it in the court documents. Well, she said here, when she spoke to the police, she said, I saw a dude under my kid's bed. She then told police, I did what I had to do. But did you have to do that? Did you have to shoot him? He was already out of your property and front door. Did you have to shoot him? If you had shot him in the bedroom, I might have a different opinion on the case. But the fact that he was already out your front door, you could have closed the front door and that would have been it. So I struggle with the whole, I did what I had to do. Why did you have to do it? Because that's the first thing the prosecution is going to ask you. Why did you have to do that? Is it because you were under threat? Was there a threat to life? Did he threaten you? Did he threaten your daughter? Was there something there that made you feel that you had to fire that weapon? And if you can't articulate that and you just say, I did what I had to do, then a jury is not going to buy that. You can't get away with killing someone just because you thought, hey, he touched my daughter, I'm going to shoot him. Can't do that. Callie Girl said, sounds like the mum needs a reality check. I think the mum also needs to, I don't want to tell people how to parent their own kids, but if your 13-year-old daughter is inviting 20-year-old men over, maybe you have a problem with your daughter. Because I don't know many 13-year-old girls that want 20-year-old boys over at their home. Like, I know girls want to be with the older guys, but not 20, maybe 15 or something like that. But the fact that the 13-year-old girl is inviting 20-year-old grown men over while her mum is at work. Think maybe she has a issue with the daughter. Espion said, "I'm so blessed I was able to talk out an intruder in my home and lock him in the garage, but I would totally have stabbed him with the knife." That's different. That's an intruder. Sweeniver said, "I always have an opinion. My whole family is opinionated." That's okay. You can have an opinion. Kathy said, "Daughter was not mature enough to be home alone. Not inviting 20-year-old men over." I find that very interesting. I'd like to know more about that. Because like she said, the mum said, don't invite boys over. So it's obvious she had done it before. And the mum knew. So we'll have to wait and see. That's going to happen on Monday. All right. That's your update with that. There is no more real news on this because it is a weekend in America. We're not going to find out any more until court opens on Monday. All right. I want to go to this story. Yeah. I want to go to this story because hold on. About the story that we last said, according to local news KPLC7, they said that the reason that they charged her with first-degree murder, and this is where it hinges, the state's decision to pursue first-degree murder charges hinges heavily on the allegation that Morden was shot in the back of the head while retreating outside the property, which undermines standard self-defense protections. That is why. According to her defense lawyer, his name is Blake Ballin. He said, the situation started with the worst nightmare of any parent and questioned whether anyone could expect to act rationally under those circumstances. Well, I mean, yeah, I get it, but he'd already left the home. Tell me more about that, defense attorney. All right. That is your last bit on that. Okay, there is a weird story going around, and I know a lot of people know about this case. It is a very old case from 1968. Now, you know Ping doesn't do a lot of old cases, but I wanted to do this one because I think it's interesting when someone thinks their own parent might be the killer. And I want to go here. Hold on, where is it? Yeah, no, that's not it. Yes, here. So there was a woman. Her name is Madeline Lynn Babcock. She was 35 years old back in 1968, and she vanished from Florida. So, this woman is saying that. So her name is Jodie Tedder, and she's saying that her father made a deathbed confession to her back in 2010, confessing to killing the girl back multiple decades ago. She claims that this woman is buried in her old former childhood garden. That is where this woman has been for, decades, buried, hiding, and that's where her remains are. So I'll show you the photo of this woman, Babcock. This is her photo. So this is one of the not very many known photos of her. But this daughter, Jodie, is convinced that her father killed this woman. And I'll show you here. There's also a newspaper clipping. So you can see her there. Can you help find missing woman Lynn Babcock with her brother Ray? The last time she was seen by sister Pat Foy in 1967. So there's a very old article about it. And this woman reckons she watched her father be with the woman and then murder her, and that she's kept this secret for many years. What do you guys think? Do you think that someone could realistically, at 3 years old, remember these kind of details enough. Here's a photo of her at 3 years old. That this woman, Jodie, would remember her father brutally murdering this woman back, 5, 6 decades ago. I don't know. I have my questions. If that is true, if Dad really did do a deathbed confession and say that you really do have those details about where she might be buried. They're saying she's buried somewhere around here. I'm going to show you. Somewhere in this area, possibly. So her former childhood yard. And she says that she watched her father slit this woman's throat and kill her at 3 years old. She says, so her name is Jodie, claims her father James attacked and murdered the 35-year-old Madeline Lynn Babcock in a Washington state hotel room back in 1968. And that she's sure of it. Like, she is 100% sure she saw her father bury the woman, knows the exact location. There's her father back in the day. And she's saying she contacted authorities and they don't care, that they don't want any part of it, that they're not interested in finding this woman or digging up the area to recover her. So Jodie says that she only gathered up the courage to alert investigators to what she claims to have witnessed after her father made a deathbed confession back in 2010. She says despite coming forward with the grim recollection well over a decade ago, she alleges the woman's remains are still buried in Washington state and that she insists she knows the identity of the slain woman. She was just 3 years old at the time and has repeatedly told authorities that she believes Madeline Lynn Babcock, a 35-year-old woman who vanished from California around the same time, is buried in her former childhood backyard. And they're saying here, so far, authorities have declined to dig up the apparent grave site. She says, she's still in our garden. The guilt of having her there is unbearable. You can't live with it. That's what she's saying. I can't live with it. She says, I was sitting in a chair and I remember this woman walking up to me. I could see that they had been partying. There was a lot of booze on the table. And then she continues, I was sitting up against the wall, and at one point she came over and let me look through her purse. Soon after, her father flew into a rage, pinning the woman to the bed, all while his daughter was still in the room. He was holding her with his right hand and pushed up her skirt. I remember her screaming. I had never seen a girl scream like that before. The next thing I remember was Craig standing on the left. He was holding her. She was still screaming. Dad had a knife in his belt. He took it out and slit her throat. Then Jodie claims her dad handed her the knife to hold, and he went about cleaning up the mess. Her father and his friend apparently wrapped the woman in a bed sheet, drove 30 minutes to dump her body in the backyard. The guilt of that night has been with me my whole life, adding that she only fully comprehended what she witnessed when she started going to therapy in her 30s. What do you guys reckon about her recollection of that night? Do you think someone with a memory, there's Lynn with her mother. So this is the missing woman, Lynn Babcock, with her mom. Do you think someone at 3 years old can remember those kind of details? I don't know. I'm confused whether it's possible or not. SP Mama said she was already traumatized and in a bad situation and abusive. No wonder she remembers this. Sweeney said, and no one at the motel heard anything. Apparently not. Kathy said it could be true. Gayla said, "Where's the friend?" Yeah, where's the other male? Where's Dad's friend? Because maybe he's dead. I mean, if Dad is dead, maybe his buddy is not alive either. Here, I'm just trying to look here. So apparently, Jodie says, "I've been working through this with my therapist. With him putting the knife in my hand, my dad made me feel as guilty as he was." Um, she says she stayed quiet for all this time because she feared her father, and that she claimed too that her father became abusive towards her in the aftermath of that night, leading to her childhood of essay and abuse at the hands of her father. She says, "My father was abusive in every way. In that home, I remember being R-worded. My sister remembers walking in, seeing dad R-word me. It went on my entire life until I left the family home at 18 when I got married." She says, "It was awful. That's why you don't tell your story to anyone. My father, anytime you moved out of line, he was physically abusive to us. We were whipped by a belt. We were teenagers, and he would whip us." Hmm. She says in December of 2010, her father, who was 72, was basically dying on his deathbed. She says, "I spoke to my dad while he was dying. He apologized to me and said he was sorry for what I experienced. My dad said he was sorry I carried around this guilt my whole life. After my dad's confession, I went to the police. They told me they needed the confession from my dad, otherwise, there was nothing they could do. They said they believed me, but it wasn't good enough." She said she trolled through missing person photos before she landed on Babcock, who, if still alive, would be 93 today. She was last seen in Venice just days before the apartment murder. I mean, I don't know, guys. How would she get from Venice to Washington in like 3 days after this woman who lived in Florida had an apartment in Florida? Allegedly, she cleaned out her apartment and her apartment was empty when her family found it. So why would she go all the way up to, up north? So what are they saying? I'm just trying to find out like geography. So Venice just okay. Apparently, this woman that went missing, this Lynn Babcock, she suffered from a buildup of fluid on the brain and needed spinal punctures to control the condition. So this was a very ill woman, even at 35. Changes the estimate language. Um. So according to this, she has been talking to the Vancouver PD, trying to get them to come out to the family property and dig it up. A police spokesperson said, however, there wasn't enough evidence to carry out a search warrant, and they say that Jodie was going to do her own excavation at that location and was advised if any evidence was located to stop immediately and call the PD. The property where the remains are said to be buried is currently owned by Jodie's family. Jodie claims her mother did a boundary exception before selling off a portion of the property. "My mum did not want to sell that property with the body on it." They say the land is still in the family's possession. Teddy, who admitted to saying she no longer had contact with her relatives, has vowed not to give up. "The guilt of that night has been with me my whole life and made me want to get justice for Lynn. Her body is in that back garden and nobody is doing anything about it." Okay, there you go. That is the story. I mean, here's the woman. This is her and her father. I mean, sorry, her and her new husband. So this is the woman, Jodie, and her husband. You guys are going to have to help me out here because it sounds like maybe someone who lived an abusive childhood, possibly trying to find a way to deal with what happened to them. I don't know if she really did witness a woman have her throat slit in a hotel room. If you did that in a hotel room, there is no way you could clean it up without having drop sheets and plastic and um there's no way like you could not clean that up. How many of you think if you're in a motel room and you cut somebody's throat that the hotel management would not notice? Like they would know. You're not cleaning that up. Do you know how much blood is in a human body if you cut their throat? It's liters and liters and liters of blood. Unless the entire thing was like a tiled area, which I doubt it, you are not cleaning that up. There's no way. Gail said that's messy, but they would report it if they would not report it if it's a dive. Yeah, it goes everywhere. And then it pumps out of the body until the heart stops beating. So it would just be everywhere. You're not cleaning it. It would be on the sheets, on the bed, on the carpet, on the walls, on the freaking everything. I'm concerned. What I think is going on, I just think that maybe this girl's had a really hard life. And that in itself is a tragedy and a crime. But I doubt her story. I don't doubt that her father was abusive towards women. Maybe she saw him with a girlfriend and he beat her up. I don't know about this whole slitting the throat and handing the knife, and I don't know about that. And she didn't even, like, the only way she was able to ID the girl was she was just looking through missing person, you know, posters from the time period. I mean, that's a pretty shonky way to do it. Like, you don't even have your father naming her. Like, if the father had named her as Lynn Babcock, you might have something. You might have something, okay? But the fact that you don't even know her name, and the only way that you got it was from flicking through the internet. So I don't know, guys. I don't know if this is someone trying to make a career in true crime or pretty good way to make a career in podcasting. Make up a crime that your father committed and then make a podcast about it and then do something like that. Yeah, I'm going to try to find some more information for you. Apparently there's been a few different people who have done stories on it, and that she does have a NamUs entry for her on NamUs. I'm going to take you out there if it loads. Yeah, here we go. So there is a NamUs entry for this woman, for Madeline Ann Babcock, white, female, Caucasian. Last date of contact, June 1, 1968, from Venice, California. She went missing at 35 years old. She'd be 93 today. So, yeah. Madeline Babcock was last seen in June or July of 1968 when she told family she was being driven home. How does that join up with being with this person's father? I want to know how that sort of cross-sects with each other, because so far it doesn't. Yeah, I'm going to try to find anything else I can. So outside of this one article that I've been reading to you from, there is no evidence that her father has any crossover with this woman at all. There are 3 podcasts who have done things on it, including the Vanished podcast, episode 355, and another one called True Crime Theories, and then there's been one more on YouTube. No one has crossed it over with her dad. I mean, you never know, but it doesn't sound very good. Chipmunk said, back then cleaning up not like today with leftover DNA. I want to know why the cops didn't investigate. Yeah. Yeah, how did she know it was Lynn Babcock? Mm-hmm. Did he have a criminal record? It doesn't tell us. It doesn't mention if there is a criminal record or not. And then, like, the thing is, when she talks about the deathbed confession, he doesn't confess to murdering Lynn Babcock. He just confesses that he put his daughter through a very abusive life. He doesn't say that he killed a woman. He just says, I'm sorry for being abusive towards you. I'm sorry for doing that. He doesn't say anything about murdering a woman in a motel room. So I don't know if this is some sort of you know how people who go through really traumatic lives can make up scenarios in their head. They're almost like fake memories, and it's a way of their brain sort of dealing with the trauma. I wonder if that is what's going on here, because I can't imagine any father, whether he's into R-wording women or not, you know, grabbing a woman, pushing the woman's skirt up and putting his hand, you know, in between her legs and stuff while his daughter is sitting in the same room. I can't imagine anyone doing that, whether they're an R-wordist or not. I can't imagine that. I would think they would not want that being witnessed. So yeah, I don't know. I don't know about her story, eh? I'd like to know more about the confession that her father gave and why she's so sure it's this woman. Why is she sure it's Lynn Babcock? Trying to see if I can find another photo of her. There's very few photos of this woman. I mean, she did go missing like many, many decades ago. Look, this is like all we have. A very blurry, very old photo. And then the one I showed you in the paper, if I can grab it. Where is it? Yeah, that one with her mom. That's probably the clearest photo we have of her. Yeah. That's probably the clearest photo we have of her and her mother. So 3. Let me have a look. What'd you say? What'd you say? Let me see. Maybe when he was abusing her, she imagined that story to be someone else, but with dad still being bad. I have a feeling that's what it is. I have a feeling that it's got nothing to do with this missing woman at all. You'd be digging up the garden. She tried. Here. She did try and dig up the garden, and then she almost destroyed a driveway, apparently. And then she had to stop doing it. This is when she tried to dig up her backyard herself. And apparently she almost made a driveway collapse, and she had to stop doing it. So that is her effort to dig up the backyard. What I find interesting is she says right at the end of the article that her and the family now don't talk. Well, how come you talked when you did this and dug up the backyard, but now you don't talk to each other? Why? Do they not believe your story? Do they not believe there's a dead woman in the backyard? And if there is a dead woman in the backyard, why do they not want to dig it up? Why do they not want her removed from the property? So they are questions that I have too. All right, hold on, guys. Sorry, guys. Needed a drink. I was talking too much. Chipmunk said that's a lot of effort. She truly believes this. I don't know if we're ever going to know, but she is going around to the papers trying to get more interest in it. I'm just trying to see here if there's anything else. Yeah, look, I don't know. I'm not sure. But this woman truly believes that her father, there's a photo of her too. There's a photo of Jodie. She believes her daddy, James Steele, is a murderer. That he killed this woman back 50 years ago. So, I don't know. I don't know. You guys are going to have a look into it and tell me what you think. All right, I'm going to try have a look if there's very little information about her because she went missing long before the internet, long before, any type of good detailed mapping of missing people. There is very little information about this woman at all. Um, yeah. All right. All right. Let's see what else we have on our list. What time is it? 4 o'clock. Okay. Let me see what else I have on my list for tonight. I can't remember if I have another crime. We have a trial coming up very shortly about Mamta. Mamta's husband's trial should be coming up too. Hold on. I would like to do that trial when we get to it. I'm just seeing what's going on in it. This was such a big story at the time, and I am very interested in doing the trial. When is the trial? Okay. There was a new update like a month ago that authorities have given new forensic evidence to the court. Here, I want to see this. Yeah, let's go to Fox 5 in Washington. And let's see the new evidence for Mamta Couild.
Evidence in the case of Mamta Couild, the Manassas woman allegedly killed by her husband, Naresh Bhatt, who remains in jail.
Forensic scientists are now examining 3 human hairs from a saw. Fox 5's Tisha Lewis joins us live from Manassas with more. Hey, Tisha.
New details emerging. In fact, we are told the hair and also hair fragments were examined visually, and also stereo microscopy was used. And then further examined, I did go inside the Prince William County Courthouse here to the Circuit Court. Fox 5 was able to obtain these court documents just filed last week. The new evidence includes 3 human hairs, 13 human hair fragments, apparent fibers, and apparent debris. The hair-like strands from a saw. The certificate of analysis provided to the Circuit Court indicates the human hairs may be suitable for nuclear DNA testing and have been referred to the forensic biology section for analysis. We're told the human hair fragments were not suitable for nuclear DNA testing. The new evidence comes after Mamta Couild disappeared from her Manassas Park home back in August of 2024. Her husband, Naresh Bhatt, remains in custody. He's charged with murder, also concealing a body and also defiling a dead body. We spoke with a longtime forensic DNA analyst.
Yet they still have not been able to find her, which is very frustrating. So we are still heading to trial in October. That is very good timing. So I should be going to one trial about a missing woman who's never been found in Victoria, Australia, and then that will finish, and then I'll head straight into the Naresh Bhatt trial. So we're basically going to go from one to another this year. which is good. We'll have a lot of experience with missing women who have never been found by the time we get to October. So October, it's apparently still scheduled to go ahead. They're saying it's going to be a 25-day jury trial, and they're saying there's over 4,000 pieces of evidence expected to be given at that trial. A pretrial conference is set for September 10, and they're saying here there's not going to be a live stream. Damn. That is annoying. They're saying that there's only going to be allowed audio and podcast recording devices, and that is it. So it'll be pre-recorded only. So we're not going to get the audio probably till the end of the day. That is frustrating. I would have liked to have had a live audio or a live video of something. I hope that changes by October and that we're allowed. I don't know, even a live audio would be okay. Some sort of live something. Waiting till 5 o'clock in the afternoon, local time to get the audio files from the government would be a pain in the absolute butt. That we've done that before, but it's very annoying. Let's see. Yep. So no more delays. They are expecting it to go forward. They're saying here prosecutors uncovered that Naresh performed Google searches for diagram of brain and chicken farm near me on the 30th of July 2024. Cell phone tower data and Tesla GPS records tracked him disposing of heavy-duty trash bags in a trash compactor in Falls Church during the early hours of the 31st of July. We always thought that he might have dumped her around the location. That's why we haven't been able to find her. Awful case, an absolute abusive piece of work this guy is. And I would love nothing more than to see justice done for Mamta. I covered this case so heavily in July of 2024. I think I was one of the first people reporting on it at the time. I don't think anyone else cared about it. And we were doing it day in and day out at the time. And then it got more and more popular. But I think we picked it up really, really early. And we were like running with it. Let's see. Do we have any more evidence about that DNA? I'd love to know.
New developments tonight in the case against the Manassas Park husband accused of killing his wife. Mamta Couild disappeared nearly 2 years ago and was never found. Now, forensic scientists have determined human hairs were on a handheld power saw from the family's home. Our Rebecca Turco walks us through this latest court filing and what it means for the case.
This forensic lab analysis determined 3 human hairs and more than a dozen hair fragments were on a reciprocating saw from the Botts family home.
Every little bit of evidence that we have helps contribute to the larger puzzle.
According to this April analysis recently filed in court, the 3 hair strands may be suitable for DNA testing. Forensic DNA is GMU professor Kelly Knight's expertise. She's not connected to this case, but has been watching.
To find hair that is suitable for nuclear DNA testing is a big deal, and 3 hairs is more than enough to get a DNA profile.
That means the lab can determine whether the hair likely belonged to Mamta Couild, Naresh's wife and mother of his child. She went missing the summer of 2024. She was never found, and Naresh was first charged with concealing her body, then months later with her murder. Investigators took Mamta's hairbrush, a power saw, and other items from the home. According to prior court filings, forensic testing indicated blood on the saw, which wasn't from Naresh or his daughter. But that testing couldn't rule out Mamta's DNA on the saw. And now Kelly says forensics will compare the 3 hair strands to DNA from Mamta's hairbrush and other evidence in the case.
This is going to provide us with additional evidence to further explain what possibly could have happened.
There's an ex parte hearing for this case on Thursday. I'm told that means the hearing is closed to the public and only one party will be present before the judge. But the circuit clerk's office would not confirm whether it'll be the defense or the prosecution.
Very interested in doing this trial in October. This case means a lot to me because I think we all just saw through his absolute bullshit excuses from day one. His whole, like, I don't know, she could be over here. She went with her sister. Oh, she's with family in New York. Like, he is just the worst liar ever. Here, please. If you've never seen the body cam video from him, it is effing ridiculous watching him. He's all like, oh, she could be here, she's up and down, she could be in the sky, she could be in the ground, and a raccoon came. Every time, like, he just, it's frustrating to watch, really. Really, really frustrating. Here, I'm trying to see if I can find it. You like to see Ping get really, like, worked up about stuff? Play the video of Naresh with the body cam. Yeah. Listen to what he has to say about his wife who's missing. Oh, there we go.
Oh, that's someone coming to the door now. Okay. Is it her? Oh, no. No.
Hello, sir. How are you? I'm Officer the Human Ass Park, please. We're looking for Miss Mamta Kafle.
Yeah, she like on Tuesday, Wednesday, she left and then she says she's gonna go either New York or Texas, and then she left. She had the phone and then she destroyed that phone and then she left.
So she destroyed the phone and she left. She said she was going to New York.
Yeah, her sister, one of her.
It started already. So she was left and it was Tuesday and she came and she went and there was a phone and then she broke it and then she left. We're already like 1 second into it. It gets worse.
Sister.
Okay. Yeah. Do you have any other contact information?
Yeah, I like she has a different 3 phones. I do have like 2 phone numbers. One phone number somebody other receiving, one another contact number for the New York. I do have.
Okay, can you show me that? Can you have that info?
Numbers? Can we get those phone numbers from you?
Yeah, we just want to see if she's okay because we have an employer calling.
Hi.
Hey. Did she say why she left?
Yeah, because we are about to separate and then the home inspection come here I'm about to sell the home. So, she wanna say like, okay, I wanna go, with my sisters, and then she used to work Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and Saturday.
Okay.
And then sometimes I don't know where you can come inside or I can come outside.
It's up to you, sir.
Up to you, sir. Yeah.
And she used to live in a Falls Church. I don't know the exact address. I know the building because I noticed there because I saw her email, and then one place over there, and then I don't know somewhere in Manassas because on the 8th, I think like on the 8th she started a job.
Last month?
No. Yeah, last month. Sorry.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
On the 8th, so I'm not working since that. She say like she gonna be stay there, and then once she gonna be everything settled down, she will take the baby. She not gonna leave the baby with me. That's what she said.
The absolute fuck are you talking about? Hey, she was here and she was there, and then she had 3 phones. It was 1 phone, it was a date, and it was July, and it was August, and it was over here, and she used to work sometimes a Thursday or Friday. She was here on a Monday, sometimes, but hey, it's very funny. She was here on a Tuesday too one time. Then she used to live over here, and then she was there, and she went over here. She went to New York one time. It is the most chaotic word salad I've ever watched somebody try and. The funny thing is, if he was just very calm and told police, yeah, she's not here, they would have just left. But he's rambling, absolutely rambling about all sorts of absolute rubbish. And as you can tell, it drives Ping up the wall listening to him because you can tell it's absolute bullshit. It's just like he's trying to confuse them. That's what he's doing. He's trying to throw so much information and words and dates and phones. I got 3 phones. I got 1 phone. I got 2. I actually had 4 one time. Like he's just trying to like throw as much stuff out to muddy the water as possible.
I know the building in Falls Church where she was. Still, she's living over there or Texas because I already conversation with her sister. She just did not reply me, and then she was asking me, and then her mom is also asking for me. I don't know where is she.
Okay. So if you could give us the phone numbers, please. We want to see if we can make contact with her.
This is not the first time. Multiple times she go and then come back in few days.
Okay.
I don't have the phone number for her sister. Usually I have a face.
So you don't have imaginary phone numbers for people who don't live in America. Funny about that. So if you don't know, her family, so Martha didn't have any family in the US at the time. Her family came to the US after she died. But at this point in time, there is no family on her side in the US. So the fact that he's all like, oh, she's with her sister in New York, there is no sister, and there is no phone call, and there is no phone number. He is just not real.
But I don't have her phone number.
Oh, gotcha. Okay.
So that's what I replied 2/23. Usually she works Thursday to Saturday. She works there, and then it's not first time she disappear and then come back. I live with my parents over there. She say okay, I'm not gonna live with your parents. My parents left back home, and then still a lot of she going. She got the green card already, and then she was about to yeah.
Okay. When she left.
Guys, I can't. I would. When things just upset you so much, you just want to break stuff. I just want to break this microphone stand and just break this screen in front of me because he's so frustrating to listen to. It just makes no sense what he's like, and it's it's like what does that mean? What I don't think they do know. I don't think they know what this is either. It's almost like spirit fingers. That's almost what it's like listening to him. I don't think they know what this means. I don't think they do. I don't think they care. That's a weird thing. If he just told them she wasn't there, doesn't know where she is, doesn't have a phone number for her, or they would have just left. And he just goes on this giant roller coaster of, and we went to, we went home, and they didn't want to live with my parents, and I was over here. They're details that they're not even asking for, which is so funny. They didn't even ask him about any of this, and he's talking about how they didn't want to live with his parents. It's bizarre.
Was she did you say anything about hurting herself or anything concerning?
No, because if it's the first time, then I can say, oh, okay, where are you going, this and that. This is multiple times. I don't know who we call you, but sometimes she came back, and then most of the her stuff regular stuff. She already I think in March she already take regular stuff regular wearing, regular shoes. This is her shoes even but the regular things she already take it. But the normal thing fancy wear, a suits, special wear, still we have here.
Okay. Can I get your phone number, sir?
Yeah.
And do you have ID on here?
Yeah.
Okay. Just get that. Yeah, we'll get it all at once. So we don't have contact. I mean, what I'm thinking is if maybe get his info and could tell us to give us a call if she comes back.
Get his info. Sounds like they're going through a divorce, so she decided to go to New York with her sister. If she just comes back, he can give you a call. And I think it was her job who called, just called them, let them know that, hey, spoke to the husband. It appears they're going through a divorce, and she left and went to New York.
And she's not at the work.
So yeah, her employer called and asking just called us to check if she was okay. So that's why we're here. We don't mean to bother you.
No, that's fine. She's supposed to be there. You know, usually like I don't know. I cannot check. You know, like where she goes.
Okay. Okay, thank you. It's all right.
Military?
Yeah.
What branch?
Army.
Army.
You good?
Okay, Virginia.
No, my wife's military.
So someone who worked for the military and then pretends like English is their 80th language behind 80 other languages, and they're not, not real good with the English language. Then when they went to court, demanded a translator. This guy speaks English perfectly. He speaks English just fine. He worked with the military in America. If he couldn't speak English well enough, they would not have accepted him. Even as a contractor, they would not have allowed him to work with them. He speaks just fine. I hate that. So one of his court cases was delayed back in 2024 because he needed a Nepalese interpreter. He doesn't need a Nepalese interpreter. It was just a delay tactic. He's a very frustrating guy to listen to.
Wow. So, can I have your card or something?
Yes, I'll give you my card.
Yeah, so that I can call back. Hopefully she either texts us because one of her very closest friends either texts us. I don't know, like maybe like she working not.
I'll just leave it there. It's a real shame that these cops didn't pick up on his body language at the time, but they're not detectives and they don't know at this point in time that there's a possible murder that has happened. So I don't blame them, but with the opportunity of hindsight, a detective may have picked up on this body language earlier. His body language is all over the shop, not someone who's very casual and like, yeah, I'm going through a divorce. Yeah, I don't know where she is. She took off and, like, I don't know. She'll be back if she wants more of her things and maybe I'll see her in the future. I don't know. We only talk through lawyers anymore. Instead, he just rambling about all this kind of stuff. Jill said holding that baby like a shield. Yeah. It's he also used the child as an excuse like 40 times as well. In another interview he tried to use the kid as an excuse of like why he never saw his wife. He's like, "Oh, I sleep and she's awake and sometimes we have dinner together." Very odd. Sweeney said too bad she didn't bump him off. Yep, it is a shame. Gail said they must have thought something as they spoke to people renting another part of the house. Well, I think eventually they cottoned on, but not at this point. The interview with the news guy by his vehicle, that's a good one too. That's a good one as well. I don't know if I have that one. I don't know if I don't think I have it, unfortunately. I know the one you're talking about. I've seen just about everything for this particular case. He is an absolute scumbag. I cannot wait for this trial because he is going to get what he deserves. He will get what he deserves. He is an absolute scumbag. Yeah, cannot wait. Cannot wait for this trial. I'm looking forward to it. The fact that we didn't get it last year and it got delayed by another 12 months is disappointing. Disappointing that we didn't get to go to trial last year. That would have been good. Yeah, so that interview that he gave in this body cam, well, not an interview, but talking to authorities in this body cam, he then gave an interview on August 14 where he later claimed he last saw his wife after a quiet evening meal with no argument or specific mention of her traveling. Yeah, that's the other interview. That's what I was telling you about, where he's trying to use the child as an excuse of why he doesn't know where Mamta is. He's like, oh, I had to take care of the baby, and I do it, and she wasn't there, and sometimes I wake up and I'll cook dinner, and then I'll eat, and then she's not there, and he just constantly making stuff up, constantly making things up. It's a real shame. The sort of guidance right now is that they believe there's a good chance they'll never, ever find her body. That if they believe what happened to her, which is like that she was cut up, and that he dumped her in a compactor, they're saying the chances of recovering her is very, very slim, which is a tragedy in its own right, a real tragedy that we can't find any of her. So it's really sad, very, very sad. She should be watching her baby grow up. That's what she should be doing. I'm surprised there's still photos of the baby around. I know the family don't want us using the name of the child. They asked us not to use the name anymore. I'm surprised there's still photos of the baby. Yeah, that's better. I was going to show you this photo, but the other one I had was unblurred, and I don't want to show the child. So the families asked us to respect the privacy of the child and to only call it the baby. So we're only supposed to call baby or something like that, and not to use the real name. So yeah, murdered his wife. Well, you can see in the photos. Where are they? Like you can see if we show you some of the photos from the bathroom, if you've never seen them, I'll show them to you. That's a bad copy. Give me a sec, I'll find them. What happened? Read the article. Oh, that's interesting. It looks like some of the photos have been removed. I wonder why. That's very strange. But here, this is like the cork where they removed the bathtub and they were able to find blood within the caulking of the where they're sealing the bathtub to the floor. They were able to find blood evidence. I wish I had the other one where they show you the bath. They also found a carpet, and I think I can show it to you, but I'll have to go here. So there's where the bath is, and there's that caulk or sealant, and there's where they got the photo of that blood stain. So they removed this entire bath, and then they were able to find that blood underneath it. And then, oh yes, that's what we need. And add. Go away. There's the carpet. They rolled it up, and as you can see, there is an absolute massive blood stain on the carpet. They believe that she was killed and then dragged through the property into that bathroom, and they reckon they saw drag marks in that carpet where he literally dragged her body across the floor. And you can see, look at all the blood staining in that carpet sample. It's yeah, very sad. Very sad. So yeah. Yeah, blood and bits down the drain. Yes, dragging the body. Sreenivas said, I would love it if his daughter visits her father in prison and just looks like her mother. She does sort of look like her. Like if you look, I know she's only little, but she does look like mom. If you see the photos where she's not pixelated, does look very much like mom. So hopefully when she grows up, she'll be a representation of her mum and not her dad. So yeah, look, trial in October. I would like to do it on this channel. I'd like to do the trial with you guys. I think it's very important that we, you know, not let this guy get away. Not let it be one of those quiet trials where no one reports on it. I don't think it's going to be like that. I think it's going to be quite big, but yeah, I want to be a part of it. I want to finish the story that we started all the way back in 2024. I just want to be there for it because I've never seen a case come together so quick. We heard that she was missing, and in those first 4 days, I think most of this channel had made up their mind of what had happened. I think so, right, guys? For the people who were here in 2024, I think we had figured it out by day 4. By day 4, we knew that Mamta was most likely dead. And we were like screaming from the rooftops for like weeks, going, we know this woman is in trouble. We know most likely she has been killed. And we know most likely it is the husband. And it felt like it dragged on for a good month or two before we started getting some sort of resolution. And this guy, during that entire time, was free. He was free, walking around. He would be at the home, he'd be elsewhere. He tried to sell his cars at one point. So yeah, it was very frustrating early on. Yeah, I think everyone had made up their mind very early. Gayla said Mamta was a nurse, a very caring person that didn't deserve this to happen to her, especially in her own home. You know what was scary? The fact that when they went to arrest him, they found clothing for the child and for him packed in a suitcase and passports ready to go. He was just about to flee the country. He was just about to flee America and try and get out of what he had done. They got him by like hours. They got him by like literally hours. Jules said her coworkers really knew he was dangerous. Yep. A lot of them have come out and given interviews. Gail said his bags were packed. Yep. And he had passports ready to go. So he can rot in jail until trial. And we'll go from there. We'll go from there. It's a shame that we never found her, though. That's all I'll say. It's a real shame. All right. So October. Put that in your diaries. And we will be there in October. Hey, I want to thank my friend. Hey, Sweet Universe, thank you very much for the donation. I appreciate it. To all the people who are supporting this channel, it's very kind. I'm looking forward to being run off my feet in about 4 weeks' time. In 4 weeks' time, I'm looking forward to going back to doing like 18-hour days, because these trials, we go 7.5 hours in court, and then I got to do the podcast for you guys. It's a good like 18-hour day. So I'm looking forward to being back in that kind of mode again. Warner still said, I'm so glad they caught him and he didn't get away with the beat. Yeah, that would have been bad. That would have been awful if he somehow made it out of America with the child. Do I have one more for us? I might have one more if I can find it. I don't think that's it. Hold on. I got the wrong story. Okay. No. Okay, you guys are going to have to just let it go, unfortunately. I hope to have more information on that other one, that woman who killed the guy in her daughter's bedroom. I hope to have more of that on Monday. So on Monday for you guys, we should have more details about it. All right, I'm just trying to see if I have anything else I want to bring up tonight before we go. Just trying to see if there's anything here. I don't think so. Hey, a guy was attacked by a shark in Tasmania yesterday. I don't think I've ever heard of a shark attack in Tasmania, but yeah, a dude was bitten while while diving in Tasmania. Also, some sad news out of California, I think, today. 90s grunge icon Jennifer Finch dead at 59. She just had a surgery the other day for brain cancer, and she just underwent a surgery on her brain just days ago. She was a part of a 1990s girl group called L7, and unfortunately, she passed away today. Very sad, very sudden death. She was supposed to play a concert just a week or two ago and had to pull out of that engagement at the last minute. But today we find out that she has succumbed to her cancer, unfortunately, and she has passed away. So very sad, very sad, very talented woman. Played some great music in her lifetime with the band, and a lot of people will be very sad to have her gone. So yeah, she had just had some surgery the other day. Yeah, I'll show it to you. She had just had some sort of surgery on her brain recently, and they had tried to save her life. She had just done a GoFundMe as well, trying to raise money for her recovery, and unfortunately, she did not make it. She has not made it. Yep, L7. Yeah, very sad. Too young. 58. It's far too young. Far too young to die in that way. 59, sorry. Yeah, 59, passed away, and the announcement about her brain cancer only came out about a week ago. And unfortunately, yeah, that information came out about a few hours ago that she had passed away. So, what a strong lady in her final days, and yeah, survived a lot in her life. Yeah, I'll show you the Facebook message that came out. And they say, we are devastated to announce the death of our partner, sister, daughter, and friend Jennifer Precious Finch. Jennifer's impact on the world of music was seismic. Her impact on our lives even more so. We appreciate everyone's interest and concern. Thank you for all the kind messages. We appreciate some space to heal privately during this difficult time. So yeah. You don't remember her? I remember L7. What a band. Great band. Yeah, very sad. Too young to die. Too young to pass away from anything really. So not not a good year for celebrities, unfortunately. We've had a lot of celebrity deaths this year, well, and every year, but this year seems to be especially bad for celebrity type deaths, unfortunately. Hold on. Oh, that's the other story we're gonna do. Hold on, guys. There was a story we're gonna do. We may do it tomorrow night. But did you guys hear about James Eunuch? So James Eunuch, it's a crazy story that he named his daughter after his victim. So his victim has the same name as his daughter. He ended up being sentenced to life without parole over a 1982 cold case. So it ended up being solved due to DNA evidence, and he ended up getting life in jail. But he named his daughter after his victim. Like, that's brutal, absolutely brutal. I wish I had a better video I could play for you. I'll look for one up, and we'll do it tomorrow. But yeah, there's the press release about it. Man sentenced to life without parole in 1982 Cloverdale murder case, and he will go to jail for the rest of his life. But his victim was a 13-year-old girl called Sarah Gear, and he ended up naming his daughter the same name, which I think is really gross, really gross. Just trying to find it here. Where is it? Yeah, his daughter is now 40, and her name is Sarah Ann Unick. So same name as his victim. Here's a photo of his victim. She was a beautiful little girl. And he ended up R-wording her and murdering her. And that is why he is going to jail for the rest of his life. That is why he will rot in jail. Gail said, I bet he got excited every time someone said her name. Probably. It was probably like a way of embedding a trophy into his own daughter. Jill said, I'd change my name. I know, right? I wonder if the daughter will. I don't know if she's still named that, but she was originally named the same name, Sarah, as his victim. So pretty gross. Pretty gross. So apparently they're saying that he claimed that it was all consensual and that he left her after having sex with her and never saw her again and has no idea why she died or how she ended up murdered. He basically, you know, had sex with this girl and didn't know how she ended up murdered, and then DNA technology tied him to the crime. Maybe we'll have a deep dive into this tomorrow night for the Sunday night show, and we'll have a really good look at James Unick and show you exactly what happened to Sarah. I think that would be good. All right, let's get out of here for the night. I want to. Oh yes, oh yes. I remember she sent it to me. Hold on. All right. Yes, she did send me a Amber Alert. Hold on, let me have a look. Where is it? 4-year-old Grace Susmlich and a boy. No. She was taken. A 4-year-old called Grace was taken by Matthew. All right. Let me have a look. There is an Amber Alert, and they're saying it's for a 4-year-old out of Kennewick. Shush. Yeah, I'll play the video for you. Out of King 5. They're saying the Washington State Parole Troopers are asking anyone in the public to report any information about the vehicle and suspect. So okay, shush. There we go. All right, here we go.
Alert remains in effect tonight for a 4-year-old girl taken in Kennewick. Washington State Patrol says her name is Grace Susmulch. The person who took her is believed to be her father, 41-year-old Matthew Susmulch. Grace was wearing white elastic shorts when she vanished, and that was around 10:45 this morning. WSP says they believe Grace's health and safety are at risk. You can see photos of the child and her father here. At this point, WSP does not know where the two could be headed.
Let's hope by the time we get back here tomorrow, there'll be an answer into what happened to Grace, and hopefully they will have her father in custody. Right now, I don't see an update for like where they might be. Yeah, I'll show you the no, not that. I'll see if I can get the Amber Alert from Washington PD. Can we get that up on the screen? Apparently not. They're saying here that forcibly taken is a word that they are using. Forcibly taken. So, and that, yeah, she's also his child. So maybe some sort of like custodial interference. Someone who doesn't have any custody rights is what I'm thinking. Yeah, what does this say? All right. Yeah, there it is. So there's the Amber Alert poster. There is 4-year-old Grace here. Yeah, there we go. There's Grace. And there's her father there. That is Matthew. He's 41. He's described as 5'9" and 209 pounds. She's 4 years old and 3 feet 4 inches tall and only weighs 40 pounds. And what an adorable little girl. And they're saying here, vehicle unknown at this time. Okay. They're saying they are in a vehicle though. So that is child abduction / taken is the way they are describing it. I'm just trying to see if they have a license plate now. All right, give me a license plate. So she was taken from the 100 block of South Conway Place at Kennewick at approximately 10:45 a.m. this morning. Currently, they're saying that the vehicle is unknown, and they're saying they don't know the make, model, or license plate. That is a shame because that might help track them down. So hopefully by the time we get back here tomorrow, they will have found him and hopefully rescued Grace. That would be a good result. And they can try and find out why was Dad abducting his 4-year-old little girl? Why did he forcibly take her from her home? That's what we need to find out. It does look like a mugshot, doesn't it? I think so too. It looks like a female version of Gus, like Gus Lamont, a little bit, right? Woman still said, my mother was birth mother. My mother was birth mother? Was wonderful. I got to know her later in life as she was my aunt legally. My dad and SD were brothers. Okay. Gayla said, picture is small on my mobile, so I can't see her. There. That is like the largest I can make it, I think, without getting like pixelated. That's the largest I think I can. So hopefully you guys can see her. Stepdad is SD. Oh, okay, stepdad. So actually, let's Google his name. What is his name again? I know his last name, but what's his full name? All right. Matthew. I just want to see if he's got a prior. Does he have a prior history? Let's have a look. Let's see if he has any priors. Oh, interesting. They're saying the abduction followed a domestic violence call and a subsequent SWAT standoff at an apartment complex, which the suspect managed to flee before tactical teams entered the apartment, and there is an active protection order against him. There you go. He has an active protection order against him. Yeah, prior. Yeah. Let's see if he's got any priors. Oh, he does. He has an extensive criminal record spanning multiple states across America with a history of DV, assault, theft, and weapons charges across Washington and California. There you go. They're saying a Walla Walla court issued a formal protection order against him to safeguard his 4-year-old daughter Grace and her mother. The order stemmed from a previous DV incident involving the family. Interesting. That can't be right. Oh, in March of 2023, Matthew was arrested on a felony warrant by Humboldt County for a homicide case in 2018. It was a fatal roadside shooting of a 47-year-old named Anthony Calderon along Highway 36 in Dinsmore, California. But later in 2023, a judge ruled in 2023 there was not enough evidence to proceed to trial. The murder charges were ultimately dismissed by the prosecutors, after evidence surfaced indicating that Matthew may have been acting in self-defense during the altercation. But in 2021, in Mendocino County, he was arrested during a traffic stop and near Ukiah, California, after deputies discovered illegal narcotics, burglary tools, and ammunition inside his vehicle. And they're saying that he was booked on a felon in possession of ammunition and firearm charge for that 2021 incident. But this guy, he's a bad boy. He's been in a lot of trouble. Here's another photo of him. Why didn't they use this photo? This is when he was arrested for that murder charge. So this guy is a very bad dude. This guy's a bad guy, already been picked up for a bunch of different things. Warner Steele said he took her to get at mom. Yes, very, very possible. Yeah, this guy does not sound good, right? Yeah, this is when he was arrested on that murder charge. Lucky for him, it ended up being dropped. But it sounds like he really did kill that guy. He killed that man called 47-year-old Anthony Calderon. And he ended up killing him. It was a homicide case out of Dinsmore, California. I'm just trying to find out more about that homicide. So it was a gunshot wound. He ended up killing that guy with a gun. So he ended up shooting him. And that was only a couple of years ago. Yeah, let's see if we can find any more about it. Yeah, they're saying a man was found dead inside a truck with a gunshot wound to the head near Dinsmore early Friday morning, according to Humboldt County Sheriff's Office, who is investigating it as a homicide. On December 7 at about 2:49 a.m., deputies were dispatched to State Highway 36 just east of Dinsmore for a report of a traffic collision and a gunshot victim. When they arrived on scene, officials found a truck parked alongside the road that looked like it had been in a crash. Inside the truck, deputies found that 47-year-old man with a gunshot wound to the head. He was transported to a local hospital where he was pronounced dead. Then they ended up arresting this guy, Matthew, over it. But the charges fell apart at the 11th hour. This is the guy that they are searching for abducting his own daughter. I would be very cautious about approaching this man. Very. The fact that this guy has a crazy history. There's his daughter. I found a larger photo for you. So there's his daughter, Grace. That's all we care about, is making sure she is okay. As long as we can make sure she gets home alive to her mother, that would be great. Warner still said, why is he out in prison? Because the charges fell apart before trial. They said there wasn't enough evidence to proceed to trial. So he got out of a murder charge, got out of a full-blown shooting someone on the side of the road, and they weren't able to press any charges against him over it. He is very lucky, very lucky. So I would have used that photo. I think that other photo was better than the one they put on the Amber Alert. I think the other one is a way better quality photo of him. This one. So I'm hoping by the time I come back here tomorrow, they have found him and his daughter is okay. Yep. Yeah, me too. Me too. So keep my streak alive and hope that this child is found urgently. Urgently. All right. Hey, I love you all. I will be back tomorrow. Have a good night. Have a good rest of your Saturday. And I'll see you for Sunday night. Good night, everyone. Bye.